Good evening. Thanks for joining. Let's give some more moment for other participants to join, and later we can, go forward the session. Shashi, can we start?
Yes, we can start.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here on a Sunday evening. Shashi, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, it is audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, madam, it is audible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Just okay. So I appreciate everyone for being here, despite Saturday evening, and for having chosen the topic as stress. I know we cannot avoid. At the same time, stress is also not bad. Okay. So, as a psychologist, I'm just going to teach you certain tips on how to deal with your daily stressors so that it doesn't take a toll on your body. Okay. So before I get into the session,
Video on it.
probably you would have come across a lot of videos about stress. And if I may know, what are you expecting from this session? Anyway, I'm going to teach you the practical tips. And what are your expectations and understanding about stress? I believe participants can unmute, because if you're going to give your responses in the chat box, I may not be able to read it because I'm presenting. Okay. So according to you, what is stress? I want to be more interactive because I'm not going to take any class or a lecture. Can any of you, let me know, like, what is your understanding? Because everybody talks about, it's not only the elders, even young children, they say, I'm very stressed. So how the stress is being very loosely used by everybody? Is it really stress or something else? Okay. So stress is your physiological or the psychological response to a threat. There is a threatful situation. Either it is real or it is perceived. I'm assuming that it is a threat. That is one situation, or I could really be in a stressful situation. Okay. So it shows in different ways. So first thing you need to understand, if you have stress, it is not a sign of mental illness. You don't have to be feeling, am I mentally ill? No. And stress is not only a feeling or an emotion. It's not like, yeah, I just get stressed. And it is not only that, it's something beyond that. It affects the whole body. When it is chronic, it affects. Okay. And don't ever think if I say I'm having stress, people will think that I'm very weak. So it is not only for weak people. Everybody are prone to stress. Okay. So stress is a very normal reaction for a threatful situation. It is what happens to us emotionally. What kind of emotions I come across when I'm in a stressful situation, and also what happens to me in my body. Not that everybody feels in the body. For some people, it starts showing in the body, right? Sometimes it is useful because right from the young age, whenever we go for an exam, what happens in that morning? We tell our parents, I don't want to eat. I have my exam. Let me finish my exam, come back so that I sit and eat relaxed. Okay, so those are, because you're creating that anxiety, you don't know, you're not very sure what kind of question paper you're going to get. So you feel straight, it's all very acute. So once you're done with your exams, you're back to normal, right? So sometimes that stress helps me to perform. Okay. Not necessarily all the stress is bad. So stress is something feeling troubled or threatened by life, but not all the time. Okay. So if I ask you, how is life at the moment? Can you give one word answer? Can participants unmute and speak, Shashi? Is there an option?
Yes, ma'am, it is there.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So if you could just describe currently, at the moment, how do you describe your life? How is it? Participants, please speak. I'm not taking a psychology class for my students, okay? Because these are the things what you're going through on a day-to-day basis. Nobody is going to think that you're weak, okay? Everybody of us, even I, every one of us go through this. But how are we going to, take care of us? That is very important, right? Okay. Okay, fine. So how is life at the moment? Okay, if I would want to describe, it's going very great. I'm doing a great job. I'm very passionate about my work. I do. I do. I get to see lot of pain people come up with, but then after a consultation, they go with that hope in their face. Okay. So for that, I feel very good about the work I do with my clients. Okay. So if you know what are the types of stress, okay, acute stress is where your body is trying to prepare for an emergency. It could be an exam, it could be an upcoming session, it could be an upcoming presentation or a meeting. Okay, then everything is fine. When we talk about chronic stress, it is the cost of daily living every day, where this kind of stress is either unaddressed. I don't know what to do about that. It is not in my control. So it goes uncontrolled. In the long run, it affects your body and hamper your immune system, because we slowly could feel we are getting prone to infections, that is when it is taking a toll on your immune system. Eustress is again, it has a positive connotation. It is a good stress where I'm feeling very excited about something coming up. Distress is again, it has negative connotation.
Ma'am, sorry.
Yes.
So anything you have shared, ma'am, it is not visible actually.
Yeah, the slides are moving actually.
But here it is showing as a blank. So can you stop the screen and
I'm
one more time?
almost in the 7th slide here.
Okay. I think, can you stop it, ma'am, one more time? Screen.
Yeah.
Okay, now can you share, ma'am?
Okay, so you were not able to see because you had asked me to go to the window and then show, right?
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute, I'll just check here. Can you entire screen you can share, ma'am, now?
Entire screen you want me to share?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just. Yes, this fine now?
Yeah, now it is visible, ma'am.
Oh, sorry, I don't know. Okay.
I thought you're not shared, I think.
No.
Okay. Sorry, ma'am. Okay, it's okay.
I'm in the slide 1, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now it is moving actually.
Okay. I think we'll have to go to the entire screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I ask you, what are the common stressors, right? There are a lot of stress that we are exposed to. It could be the environmental changes because when the weather is too hot, you get so irritated, right? Environment is not only about the nature, also the people we are surrounded with. And then it could be your personal challenges, financial constraints, our relationships, right? Our health issue. Okay. So there could be even personal challenges, family challenges again, you know, people in the family, again, relationship constraints, family burdens, family responsibility, and again, work changes, you know, uh, putting a lot, your work overload, not getting paid, for the work you do, you feel like you're being paid less. So these are the common stresses what we actually come across on a regular basis. So now, what is in my control? Because always whenever I say stress, it is nothing but stress is equal to pressure by resilience. So pressure, whatever the challenges you saw, everything is external. Okay. So the problem is we are trying to fix the external pressure, which is really not in my control. So you need to understand what is in my control and what can I do about, taking care of my own well-being, right? So what is in my control? I can do self-care practices regularly. See, today you cannot escape from the environment you're living in, right? The kind of work we do. But because we have to live with a lot of other people outside. So the problem is we try to control other people. Even when people come to me for consultation, they say, my spouse is a problem. Can you help me? Can you give me tips how I should, change my spouse? How I should change my in-law? How I should change my children? That is not possible because they are not aware that they are causing problem and they are not coming to me asking for a solution. Okay, so you have to take control of your own behavior. So when I say my self-care, you can learn certain strategy even while living in the same environment, how to take care of your well-being. That is, you're in full control about that, about your action, how you respond, how you act for whatever is happening around you. You have control over your thoughts because today, as you are in the session, there could be umpteen thoughts going in the background. That's okay because That is the function of your mind to generate thoughts. But what kind of thoughts I can control? I need to check on the quality of my thoughts, whether it is helping me to grow or it is crushing my ability. Because how do the thoughts originate? I keep comparing myself with other people. I scroll into the social media. When I look somebody at 26 or 27 making, umpteen money, I feel like I am worthless. I am good for nothing. Okay, so immediately you start comparing yourself with other people. And that thought is going to, that's not allowing you to focus. It reduces your ability, it reduces your potential, it is showing, all uh, the issues into your mind and body. So you have total control over your thoughts. And again, how to set your boundary, because the problem today is we don't set boundary. We let everybody to barge into our boundaries. Then people will start taking advantage of you, and that is going to cause a lot of problems in your life. So you need to set boundary no matter who, even if it is your spouse, your children, your family members, anybody, because unless and until we set our boundaries, you know, you are not giving the control to them. If you set your boundary, you are in full control. When you're not going to set your boundary, you are letting other people to take control of you, and that is where you land up in a problem, right? And also, how do I react? Okay, there are a lot of things happening around us where I don't have control. Should I react? Should I take it into my mind, process it, and worry about that? Or rather, when I'm not associating with that, why should I even react or respond? Okay. And this is very important who I spend time with, that decide, because we've all heard one saying, tell me your friend, I will say who you are, right? That is really, that really matters a lot, because what kind of conversations I have on a day-to-day basis? Who are the people that I'm associating with? I become what I converse, I become who I associate. Because I'm going to be influenced by those people in my life. So you have to be very mindful about what kind of conversations you're having with them, whether it is positive, whether it is towards growth, or you're always complaining to them, you're always trying to, talking negative, then your mind is going to pick that pattern. Okay, because that is going to define who you are. Now, what is not in my control, other people's priorities. So we always keep complaining. They are not giving time to me. We go and fight with people. You don't give time to me. You don't pick up my call. You are not responding to my messages. We don't have control. It is their choice, right? So you take all that into your mind and you feel probably they don't like me anymore. What wrong? So immediately you turn that towards yourself and you start doubting your behavior. Okay. And their time, even the time what is with us, we can have total control to understand what I want to do, what I don't want to do. Okay. But not about other people, what others say about me, because we tend to get affected. Somebody is criticizing me, somebody is complaining about me, somebody is scolding me. When you are not engaged with that, it doesn't matter what somebody is talking about me. Aging, again, it is not in my control because it is what I want to do currently. Other people's feelings, whether they love me, whether they hate me, whether they're treating me good, it is not my problem, it is their problem, right? And what other people talk about or believe about me, it is not. If you're able to understand what is in my control, what is not in my control, I think half the problem solved. Okay. Because you don't know what stress could do to your body, because stress is a silent killer. you may not understand what it is silently, doing in the background to your body, right? Because when I said if it is a chronic stress, it is going to take permanence in your body. It is permanently becoming a part of your lifestyle, which is very dangerous. You're able to see this gut brain axis, right? So whenever there is a move, thought comes that stress is, I'm getting prone to stress, something is triggering me, that brain is sending signals, and the uh, emergent, the stress hormones are released, and it is going and bringing a physiological change in my body, which affects my heart rate, my muscles get tensed, my BP is high, my body temperature gets high, you know, my heaviness in the chest, my digestive action. I don't know how many of you have felt this. It starts showing in the gut. There are only two types. It is shown as irritable bowel syndrome, because I have a lot of patients who come to me for this IBS. It is nothing to do with their gastroenterology in most of the cases, whereas it is the underlying stress. Okay, so you need to understand it doesn't stop with that. It disrupts your body's metabolic function. Every one of us today, we may be taking pills for hypertension, diabetes, thyroid, for women with PCODs, right? How did it all originate? The underlying cause is the stress, which has been untreated for so long, and it is started to manifest in my body. It is started to show in my body. Okay. Because it is from the top to toe, the migraine headaches, right? My thyroid disorders, my heart function, my cardiac function, my lungs, all the emotions, negative emotions are affecting every organ. When I'm not going to really take care, it is going to eat up that over a period of time. And I have a lot of clinical cases where the underlying cause was stress, and, you know, they became the victims. But one good thing is you can really take control and you can really get better, even in spite of all the illness that you're currently uh, feeling in your physical body. Yet with certain activities, you'll be able to take charge of that. Okay. So what happens typically when you're stressed? We cannot focus. We tend to become irritable. We tend to get angry for no reason. We get angry, and then what do we go and say? Sorry, I just gone nuts. I don't know why I got angry, why I yelled at you. Sorry. Most often, so we sit and think, why did I behave in such a way? Because this is what stress hormones disrupts your mind to focus, and clarity is totally out there. So you cannot sleep properly. You go to the bed, you keep tossing over, but you're not able to sleep. You feel sad or guilty for no reason. There is a constant worry. Some people cry. They feel like that is an emotion. That is a feeling that I would want to vent out. You're always feeling very tired. Changes in your appetite. Either you undereat or overeat, because I have seen a lot of people coming to the clinic for stress eating habits. They say, ma'am, whenever I feel stressed, I eat 2 biryanis. Okay, is it good? It is an unhealthy mechanism. That is not a coping mechanism, right? So many of us think a lot about bad things from the past. Either we think about the past or we brood over the future. So we are letting go of the present moment that is in front of me. Okay, so what happens? We get hooked to those thoughts and we are not able to get out of that. Hook is something you're getting trapped with all those difficult thoughts and feelings, and you don't know the way. And people come and tell me, ma'am, I always overthink. I, I keep thinking about a lot of things. Okay, you keep thinking. Is it helping you to grow, or it is pulling you down? So they say, I think over a period of time, my productivity has gone down, my relationships are getting strained, I'm not able to focus. Then it is going in a negative spiral. So do you know how many thoughts you get on an everyday basis? Per minute, you have thousands, tens of thousands of thoughts. Okay, in that, 50% thoughts are negative, and more than 70% keep coming again and again. Today, I think, tomorrow again, I think, day after tomorrow. So I'm not able to give a solution for that. And that is where you're getting hooked or trapped. Okay. So when I'm stressed, how do I show up in my behavior? Are you very happy? How do you show? What is your pattern in your behavior? You can unmute and give your responses. You wanted to be in the session to understand something about stress so that you can start incorporating in your life. Okay, don't worry, nobody is here to judge you. They're not going to say, oh, this person has spoken this. No. Everybody are going through. So can you say, how do you behave when you're stressed?
Show anger, man.
Okay. Okay, anger either is on you or on somebody, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's normal behavior. Okay. What else?
Ma'am, I'll completely go down actually.
Okay, some people, you know, your mood goes down, you feel very low. Okay.
I tend to eat more, madam.
Okay, stress eating. Okay. So some people choose that as a coping mechanism. It is unhealthy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What else? Okay. So behavior changes, yelling, somebody said, we shout. Sometimes we feel, I don't want to think about that. I'm trying to escape. So when you're trying to avoid the thought, when you're trying to escape, it is unanswered in your mind. So it says, I want to get an answer for this thought. That is where your mind again, tomorrow, when you wake up again, you're waking with this thought. Because you're not providing an answer or an approach to the thought, right? Avoiding people, places, or situation. I don't want to go because in therapy, we don't teach people to avoid. We say, build up that resilience. I teach you strategies so that tomorrow, even when you encounter that person in your life, you are not getting stressed. You're going to face with lot of courage. So we empower the client. We don't tell them to avoid or escape the situation. I can avoid one person. I cannot avoid everybody in my life. Okay, so that is not a healthy way. Staying in bed. Some people say, I always tend to, keep lying. I don't want to get out of my bed. Isolating myself. I'm withdrawn from everybody. I don't want to socialize. I don't want to be among people. I want to withdraw. So these are the signs and symptoms where we are trying to get into a shell, unaware of our own pattern. Some people get addicted to unhealthy coping mechanism, getting to alcohol, tobacco, and also illicit drugs. Or I give up. I'm not going to do that anymore. I give up once for all. We start arguing. We tend to defend our behavior. Or either we blame or criticize either us or somebody, right? So these are the mechanisms what we usually tend to do. Is it healthy? No, it is unhealthy. There are healthier ways. Again, I'm telling we cannot avoid stress. Stress is not the enemy, but how should I, disconnect with it? How should I deal with it? How should I associate so that it doesn't affect me? So how do you react when you're hooked, right? Sometimes you may be playing with children, another time, you get irritated, you shout for no reason. At one time, one moment you're sharing a meal, another other moment, you get totally annoyed. So this is how our reaction. So people around us are totally clueless. They say, this person spoke to me that day properly, and today what happened? So even other people around us are totally clueless why we are behaving in certain way at certain times, right? So what happens is we are trying to disengage. We are getting distracted. Our mind is hijacking me. Our emotions are hijacking me from the positive feeling, because something triggers. You're spending a happy time with your family, and suddenly you get a call, suddenly you get a message, suddenly you scroll the social media and you look at somebody, and within no time you're totally hijacked. So how the external pressure is influencing my emotion, and I get prone to that, I'm becoming vulnerable to that. And my resilience is nothing but my coping strategy. I tend to get into unhealthy behavior pattern, right? So we get hooked. So how do I do that? Okay, you need to engage and focus. Whenever there is a trigger, take time to think, okay, if I keep thinking, do I have a solution for this thought? Assume you get a thought, I am good for nothing. How did that thought come into your mind? You were speaking with somebody, or you looked at somebody's profile and you felt they are ahead of you in their life with a high pay package. Their lifestyle is good. They are living a luxurious life and they are showing their happiness. So immediately you compare yourself with the other person and you feel we both were on the same, frequency. And today somebody has gone ahead of me. So you start doubting your own potential and you feel, I'm not good enough. I'm good for nothing. I can understand. Everybody says so. So when you start doubting about your own self, your mind is having a storehouse of all the thoughts. It comes and gives you all the evidences, what you have collected so far about you, and it comes and justifies your statement. Yeah, even previously, I flawed. I could not do things properly. This is not the first time. So your mind will come and give you all that cues to justify your thought that, yes, you are good for nothing. So when you think about this, what happens? Whatever image you're trying to build yourself, it is crushed within a moment. It is not about others. Nobody had come and said directly. Even if they had come and said directly, I know who I am. So you need to, whenever there is a trigger, just take a pause. Think, is it really? No, I'm really working on myself. I really want to, lead a better life. I have ambitions. I'm setting my goals. So at any point of time, don't let self-doubt to set in yourself. Once that comes in, you're hijacked. That is going to take total control, and it is going to, generate only such negative thoughts about yourself, about the people around you, and that is where you tend to get angry with everything, right? So focus on what kind of thoughts you're getting and take time to address the thought. Okay. So even when you're listening to music, are you fully engaged? No. At the background, probably that music can give you a lot of memories associated with it. but instantly you can also, there is also something going in the background, some negative thoughts, right? So anything you do, it is only about have a complete focus. That is where we call it as a mindful activity. Because since I'm a mindfulness practitioner, what is mindfulness? Today, when you sit to eat your breakfast or a lunch or a dinner, what do? You watch TV, you watch a web series, and you're eating. Or either you're scrolling your phone, you're eating. Or you're call with somebody, you're eating. So you're not in total focus with the activity you're currently doing. You're doing many things at a time. Multitasking is not bad, but when you're sitting to eat, when you're trying to engage yourself with an activity, it is only the activity and you, nothing else. Okay, so here a small activity I'm not going to make you do here, so probably I can teach you how to do. So when you're uh, eating, when you sit to eat, okay, don't carry your mobiles. Okay, you don't have an option. You're in a hotel, you're in a workplace, just put your phone. So this mindfulness practices involves engaging all your five senses. I think every one of us know what are the five senses: sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of hearing, sense of touch, and sense of taste. Okay, we have learned it in the young, but we have forgotten. So when you are eating, how many of you really know what are you eating? We don't even know the taste because I'm watching a TV or I'm speaking with a friend. I don't really engage myself into the activity. So whenever you're eating, first look at the food you eat. It is so colorful. Your sense of sight should admire, it should take all the cues from the food, right? It should look at the size, it should look at the shape. So you're appeasing your sense of sight. Then what next? You are going to take the food in your hand, feel it. That is what the touch is all about, right? We'll have to feel whatever we are touching. So feel the food, feel the texture, feel the shape, feel the size. Okay. What we do, immediately we put it in the mouth. No. Take it near your nose and smell the fragrance. It has a fragrance, it has a smell, right? That brings the salivation. You have to salivate. And then you put it in your mouth. So most often what happens, we only eat. I've seen so many people who come and say, I eat only one part, one side of my mouth. No. Try to take that one morsel to the whole of your mouth. So take time to eat, to understand, to feel the taste in your mouth. If it is crunchy, you'll be able to hear the sound, right? Even then, you will be able to feel the bite through your ear. So when you are doing this activity mindfully, will you be affected by any negative thoughts or any thought? You're fully engaged. You're giving full attention to the activity you're doing. So this is how you have to do any activity. When you start practicing mindfulness in whichever activity, I just gave eating as one example, whether you're eating your breakfast or eating your dinner, there are two benefits. Your stress eating will come down. And this is one of the powerful exercises where my clients have done it. And they've also said the food cravings have come down. It has also helped them to lose their weight. They are eating in minimum. It is not leading them to overeat because there is a science behind it. Okay. So this is one of the example. Even if you're on your coffee or anything, do it mindfully. Look at it. Look at the cup you're served with. Admire the color. Admire the shape. Smell it. taste it, feel it, and hear it. Okay. So this is how you have to engage yourself in any activity you do. Probably some people will say, when I get stressed, I just go for a walk. How are we going for a walking? We put our headphones, we speak to somebody, we listen to music. Why are you doing two things at a time? When you're going for a walk, are you mindful about how your body is helping you to take the walk? Are you thanking your body for helping you to do that? So the same formula applies everywhere. So bring all your five senses when you are doing an activity, even when you're working, whether you're cooking, whether you're on your desk doing your official job. So when you're trying to bring your attention and focus into this, you are slowly weaning off your negative thoughts, and you'll be able to feel it in your body. You're able to focus, you're able to think, you get a clarity. You don't unnecessarily shout or yell at people. You're able to regulate your emotion, and you've started to respond. Okay, so try doing that. You can practice it wherever you are. There are a lot of things that you'll be able to do. So you'll be able to unhook your thoughts by engaging in what you are doing. Okay. So when unhooking doesn't help, there are a lot of ways. This mindfulness exercise is one exercise. So similarly, there is something called journaling, because there is a lot of clutter you're having in your mind. It is taking everything, knowingly, unknowingly. Okay, so I have to declutter everything. I have to declutter. How do I, we clean our homes every day. Similarly, you have to clean your mind, declutter your mind every day from all these emotional, painful memory, fear of future, anger, fear. So whatever you have stored it in your memory, you have to, declutter it. So how do we do? Imagine you are in a tree. There is a storm. The branches are shaking. It is going very violent. Would you still want to stay? Because you're unsure what if it breaks. So you will want to come to the ground. So similarly, when you're in a high emotion, come to the ground. So how do I come to the ground? There is a technique called 5 4 3 2 1. Okay. Wherever you are, look at 5 things around you. If you're able to touch 4 things, touch 4 different things. Okay. Try to hear, if you're able to hear 3 different sounds. Okay. If there are any things, try to different smells and try to taste something. So it is again the 5 senses. So try to use all the 5 senses so that you are immediately onto the ground to get you onto the uh, engaging yourself so that you don't become victim of your emotional storm. So this is what I said, hear, touch, taste, smell, and see, because grounding techniques are very powerful, and it helps you to break from your negative thought pattern. You will be able to do that. If you are able to, practice it on a daily basis, you will be able to do that. So the goal of the technique is fully engaging, focusing. It is a new skill that it's a muscle, it's a muscle memory. If you're able to practice it on a day-to-day basis, and even when you're in a stressful situation, you don't get hijacked by your emotion, and it is not going to show in your body, right? So it is very natural to have difficult thoughts. Every one of us, even me, every one of us will have difficult thoughts. But how quickly I am able to, take control of myself so that it is not going to lead to adverse effect in my body. That is the only thing. We are not telling, because stress is a silent killer, even to an extent of autoimmune disorders. There are a lot of things that stress can do it in silence, even without your awareness. right? So this is the activity that I was telling you. Anything you do, bring all your five senses into that activity so that you're disconnected from your automatic negative thoughts and you're engaging in the present moment. See, one good thing about mindfulness is again, don't judge yourself. Practice non judgment. Don't feel, am I good? Why am I doing like that? I'm a very bad person. No, don't ever judge yourself in the first place and also come to judgments about other people. We are not, that is not the purpose of our life. We are not here to judge others or even us. Okay, learn to be more self compassionate. Today, you are in a call. If a friend calls and says that, he or she is in a problem, what would you do? You will say, don't worry, I am there in the next moment. So you are a very compassionate friend. How much of that compassion you show for your own self? You don't show, you expect somebody to come and help you, which may happen, may not happen always. So learn to build that self compassion and learn to forgive yourself. That's okay. You know, I made a mistake. That's okay. Let us learn and let us be more compassionate and forgiving so that I'm better than today. So always compare with your own self. When you look back, you feel today I'm a better person. Nobody can say I am the best because we are getting better on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so this mindfulness will help you to take total control of you to be a better version of your own self. So thank you. So make this affirmation, dear stress, we break up with people. Try to break up with your stress. Thank you. So any questions?
Ma'am, stress is good or bad, ma'am, for body?
That's what the whole session was about that. See, acute stress is good, but I am on the constant stress, then it is bad. It is going to harm your body. What I'm not able to address, it starts showing in my body in the form of illness. Okay, so
Yes.
constant stress is not healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions you can ask. You don't have to feel shy or okay. How to handle work pressure? Again, as I said, you cannot. You don't have control over that, but whether I should let it to affect me or not, that is in my control. So resilience, your coping, healthy coping mechanisms, if you increase that, you don't feel pressured. You feel like, okay, I know what to do. So you are able to think with that clarity so that it doesn't feel more pressure because you know the ways and means to take care of your own self. So any questions? Because your mental health is as important as physical health, right? Because we take a lot of care about our physical health. We go for regular checkups. We want to ensure everything is normal. Because most often we say we don't have any bad habits, then why did I get this illness? Probably there is something unaddressed in your mind, and that is showing up as illness. In many cases, we have seen that. Okay, role of exercise. Yeah, you have to do physical activity again, as I said, mindfully. When I'm going to a gym, when I'm walking, when I'm doing any exercise, right? Have your full focus there, because we will be doing something and we'll be thinking, why did that person say so? Then you're not totally engaged in the activity. Then it is not going to uh, give you those benefits of those exercises. Yeah, so how to handle personal life and professional life? Again, you have to have a clear understanding. What are my expectations in my personal life? What are the expectations in my professional life? So how do I deal with it? So you need to have a structure. It is not like one formula will fit everybody. No, everybody's life is different, right? So it is not like that one size fits everybody. Yeah, you take one dolo, you'll be fine. It is not that. So we need to understand more in depth, where are your struggles, where are you stuck, how you will be able to move forward. Because the problem is we are only trying to treat the symptoms. Unless we address the core problem, your symptoms keep coming again and again, right? So we have to address the core problem. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so Shashi, shall we wind it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the session, ma'am. It
Yeah.
was very helpful, actually.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank
Yeah.
you. See you.